So I thought, I'm going to go study law, and then I'm going to go work for the United Nations. And that's what inspired my decision to go do my BA law at the university, the Northwest University. And I just decided I don't want people's lives to lay in my hands like that. While I knew, going into the UN was an option, for instance, I didn't know how to get there.
Yes.
Like I had no idea how to get there. The only info I had was how to be an attorney.
Yeah. Welcome to another episode of Sisters in Conversation. I'm your host, Tebelo Motwane. I'm an attorney by profession and the founder of a platform called Sister in Law, which is a platform dedicated to empowering women through legal education. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media pages. It's Sister in Law across the board. On today's episode, I'm joined by Noèmi Muya. She is the founder of For Women in Law, and she's also in practice. Noémi, welcome to the show.
Hi, Tebelo. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for honoring the invitation. It's so lovely to have you here. I feel like it's been a long time coming, though.
I think so, too. I think so, too.
No, I was waiting to be, at an advanced stage so that by the time you come, you're like, yo, all right.
She's arrived. No, you have done amazing.
I was waiting for you to see all the other women first and then be like, okay, great. I'm keen to do this.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Please, we're here to hear about your colorful journey, your childhood, your journey in practice, your journey with For Women in Law. Yeah. Let's start at the beginning. Who is Noémi? Where were you born and raised? Yeah. Where did you go to primary and high school? And what made you decide to study law?
Sure. Okay. So, I'm Noémi. I was born in the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and moved to South Africa when I was 9. I lived in Gauteng, Pretoria, my entire life really in South Africa. I went to Littleton Primary School in Littleton Centurion. Yeah. And then from there, I went to Littleton Manor High School, still in Centurion. And my plan was to study science. Both my parents are scientists.
Oh, lovely.
And I thought I was going to get into science as well. I was going to do genetic sciences. I did, biology and physical sciences in high school. So I just thought I was going to be a scientist as well. Why? Just because my parents were scientists.
Yeah, that's all you had.
Yeah, that's all I had, really.
Yeah.
I got to, I think, matric. What inspired my decision to eventually decide to go into law was the books I read. I'm an avid reader. And I remember in matric, I started reading this series of books called Freedom Fighters.
Okay.
Where they would profile, all the freedom fighters we know of, like your Nelson Mandela, they would profile people like, Michelle Obama, the former president of the United States as well. And the work that they did really inspired me with the United Nations, the WHO, and so on. And I thought I want to be in these spaces. Yeah. And the one thing they all had in common was that they had some kind of legal background, a law degree, some kind of legal background. So it wasn't that I necessarily wanted to be a lawyer, but I wanted to find myself in these spaces, the United Nations at first. So I thought, I'm going to go study law, and then I'm going to go work for the United Nations. And that's what inspired my decision to go do my BA law at the university, the Northwest University. Oh, yes. And then, you don't know what you don't know until you know it, right? Yeah. So I'm studying law and I'm like, hey, I'm finding out about, becoming an attorney, what you can do as a lawyer, the different opportunities available to you. So I did my BA law at Northwest University, went on to do my LLB through the University of South Africa, and now I'm doing my master's at the University of Pretoria. Okay. And the plan was never to get into practice. Okay. For various reasons. One, I wanted to get into the United Nations. Two, I never felt as though I was confident enough to be a practicing attorney. I had an idea of what an attorney looks like, of how an attorney talks, how they present themselves. I felt as though that could never be me.
Wow,
that
okay,
I was
that's interesting.
I was extremely
part.
Growth, hey? Growth. Like I look at my life now and my profession, and I think 20-year-old Noémi is gagging and is so proud.
Yeah, I love it.
Because I never imagined that this would be me.
Sure.
So I got lost, I guess, in the world of practice, and I've been here ever since. And I haven't made it to the United Nations yet. But
yes.
The work that I do, or the work that I wanted to do through the UN, I kind of already do it for women in law. So I'd say
you're there.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. I just want to take you back a little bit to a little bit of your childhood. You mentioned that you were born in the DRC and then you moved to South Africa. You were fairly young at that age, but do you recall why you moved and what was it like just coming to a whole new country?
Yeah, a little bit. So both my parents, they got job offers to move to South Africa, so they could just moved us all to South Africa. I was very young, but because I was very young, it made it easier for me to learn the language, make friends and so on. I think when it's a good thing. I think it was an advantage for us to have moved when we were so young. I was 9, my sister was 6, and my baby sister was like 1. So this is all we know. Really. I remember a little bit. I remember learning the language. Not knowing. I was in grade 4 when I started schooling in South Africa, and I remember learning the language, the difficulties. But at the time, the kids were so receptive.
Yeah.
At the time, it was.
I wanted to say kids were like friendly
because kids are usually mean. Kids are usually kids were very receptive, and when they learn that you speak French, and now it's an exchange. Okay, you teach me English, I teach you French. I remember it being fun. I remember being eager to learn the language, to make friends. I always tell this story to my father. He doesn't remember, but one of the first. I'm an avid reader, like I mentioned, and one of the first English books that I read was The Emperor's Invisible Clothes. I read that with my dad, and we had to read it. He had to read it with me to explain it to me in French what was happening, and it was. I till today I remember just the experience of the excitement of reading in English. And
he doesn't remember that.
He doesn't remember.
So that's like a memory that stands out to you.
It does.
Oh, I love it so much. And how was your transition to Northwest, because you obviously had to leave home, right?
Yes. Well, leaving home to go to Northwest University, that wasn't hard because I looked forward to it.
I
was very sheltered. I grew up very sheltered, very strict parents. Congolese kids know. Congolese parents are extremely strict. There's only a handful of things you're allowed to do when you're under their roof. So living was an exciting experience. I learned a lot. And I think I also that's where I came out of my shell. That's where I realized, hey, I can actually be a lawyer. I remember in my second year, I became a part of the, what do you call it? Lawyers for, no. That organization in varsity, I think every university has it. Lawyers committee or something. I'm forgetting lawyers committee or something. And being a part of those kind of university organizations, you were required to lead the law students, law student committee.
Yes,
law student committee. I think that's what it's called. Gosh, I'm forgetting. And that requires you to to do public speaking, to talk to law students, to present ideas to the university leaders. And that really required me to get out of my comfort zone and just talk. In my third year, I was the vice president of the Golden Key chapter, and one of my duties was when we have the welcoming ceremony with thousands of new members, I had to deliver a speech in front of thousands of people. I was shaking, but I did it. And that's one of my proudest moments where I realized I can do this. I can stand in a room of people and
do
talk
difficult things.
I can do hard things and talk and deliver a message. And it was an exciting experience, challenging experience, but like in all the good ways, because it kind of laid the foundation for who I am today.
And how far along in your studies did you realize that you actually want to take the route of becoming an attorney and maybe not an advocate, or actually pursuing UN or any other NGO for that matter?
I think at the time, I didn't have the information I have available to me today in terms of, while I knew, going into the UN was an option, for instance, I didn't know how to get there.
Yes.
Like, I had no idea how to get there. The only info I had was how to be an attorney.
Yeah.
Because that's all we're really presented with when we're in school. When we have career days, you don't see the banks coming to talk to us, to tell us, hey, we do have internships. No, it's the law firms who talk to us.
That is so true.
So that's all I knew. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go be an attorney then, if that's the only kind of avenue I have or that I know of. That's easier to
access and to have information around. Yeah.
So it was when I completed my BA law degree. I mean, there wasn't, because I'm a graduate now. There's an option of going to find something else to do. But I thought, I'm going to be an attorney, so I have to go do my LLB. And that's when I went to study my LLB.
And so you did it through UNISA. That's part-time. How was the discipline side of things?
My goodness. It was not much the discipline part of it, because I'm a very disciplined person. More of moving from a very, like a traditional university to a long distance university was hard, in the sense that I had now gotten used to networking, working
interacting
with people. It was a lonely journey. I was fortunate enough to then find employment. I worked briefly at Lawyers for Human Rights.
Oh, lovely.
Didn't enjoy that. Left. And then towards the end of my studies, I was like a legal assistant at a law firm in Brooklyn. And that's where I really gained a lot of the practical legal experience at that time.
What kind of work did you do at Lawyers for Human Rights, where you made the decision, nope, this is not for me?
We worked a lot with refugees, with I was in the refugee department. So people seeking asylum, it was very depressing.
Yeah,
oh my goodness, it was so depressing. And I just decided, I don't want people's lives to lay in my hands like that. In corporate, yes, it's crazy. You're dealing with people's money. People can lose money, but
it's not like a human.
Yes, nobody's dying.
Yeah.
Nobody is dying and being separated from their families.
Yes.
And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Sure, I can imagine.
I couldn't do it.
And how was your experience in practice? Like when you started your articles, how were those 2 years?
So I started my articles. I did my art. So when I left the law firm in Brooklyn, I got offered articles at the law firm I was in, and then I also got offered articles at the firm that I'm still currently practicing in. Excuse me. I chose to go to STBB Attorneys, and the experience was, I had a very good experience. I had a very challenging, don't get me wrong. And I'm very much aware of the experience most candidate attorneys have.
Yeah. It's always good to celebrate when you've had a good experience.
I can't lie. I had a good experience. And I was, because going in, because I already kind of, I knew the story. I knew after stories. Going in, I kind of prepared. I was preparing myself, bracing myself, but I had an amazing experience. I was put in a team with an associate who's now one of my good friends, who really mentored me.
I love that.
The paralegals really mentored me. They taught me everything that I know. There was an environment created for me to, you're going to make mistakes because you're a candidate attorney, but you're here to learn. So it's okay, Very, in the beginning, very, very early when I started, my associate at the time, shout out Cherise, she would take me with her wherever she went, when I was signing clients, out of office, drafting, sending me all her precedents. She was very intentional about teaching me everything that she knew. And one of the advice that she gave me, which I'll never forget, is, you know, I would say thank you, and she'd say, don't thank me, just pass it on. And I've never forgotten that. I have never,
that is so powerful.
Right? I've never forgotten that. And so when I get, you know, new candidate attorneys, I do the same. Sit down with them, pay it forward. Because it really made a difference.
I'm
one of the few lucky ones.
Yeah.
With, you know, very positive articles experience.
So, I mean, you mentioned that, you know, you didn't want to necessarily be in practice, but here you are, you know, you've really stuck it through. And I think it's so important that you had somebody who was intentional about mentoring you, because that makes all the difference. A lot of us, when we are going through articles, we kept on wondering, like, what are you doing here? Why are you here?
When is it going to end?
Get out. When is this going to end? I mean, I had an experience where I couldn't wait for it to end. And many people have had that unfortunate experience, but it's really so important to highlight that there are good people out there. Yeah. There are people who are invested in seeing us become the best version of ourselves. So I'm really happy for you.
Thank you. Listen, and I think, I mean, I don't know why it is that most of the articles experience is so, I don't know why. Yeah. But I think if some of us you, me, and people who come after us can just pay it forward, I think we can make a difference.
Investing in the next person. Yeah. That's so important. That's the only way we're actually going to equip the younger generations with the skills and knowledge they need to thrive in the environment. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And then, let's talk about for women in law a little bit.
That's my baby.
And knowing what you know now, what are some of the things that you would like to use your own powerful platform to change the way things are, change the narrative, maybe issues of transformation, or, you know, what women in the legal profession can do against the, you know, gender-based violence pandemic, things such as not paying advocates on time, and just really all-around mentorship. What are some of the things that you would like to use your platform to highlight and to make a difference?
Yeah. One of the things that I try to be very intentional about doing is creating a platform for the women to speak about the experiences. I think hearing their stories helps. Because like I said earlier, we don't know what we don't know until we know it. So I do a lot of work of not just on the social media platform, you know, talking to women, allowing them to tell their stories, to talk about their experiences, but even in the mentorship programs that I have, I invite women as, you know, women in law as guest mentors, and we sit down and talk about our experiences, talk about what we've learned from it, talk about what to do when you're faced with certain, you know, incidents in the workplace as a woman, what to do, as a Black woman, what to do. Talking about it helps, because a lot of the times I think if I'm not talking about it and you're not talking about it, and we don't know, we're sharing this experience.
Yeah,
like
but
everyone is going through it. It's not. We don't know.
Exactly.
Ourselves. So talking about it, I think for me is the first step, and it's a very important step. So I try to create a platform for those conversations, those courageous conversations to take place.
I love that. And what are some of the challenges that you faced in your career, whether it's with your own platform or in practice, and how have you managed to navigate those challenges?
Okay, in practice, the challenge has also been the reward.
Okay.
In the sense that, so even though I work within a firm, you get to a point when you're an associate, you now have to build your own practice within the firm. So now I have to go out and get my own clients. And the challenging part is going out there and, you know, marketing yourself. Because it can be it is still, I would say, a very white male-led industry, and there's like a gatekeeping, and then now you're trying to get in, like, who are you? And you're young, or what are you doing here? So that can be challenging. but also rewarding because when you do get the clients and they do trust you, and now you have people asking specifically for Noémi, I want Noémi to handle this transfer. I only want to, communicate with Noémi on this transfer. That is rewarding.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like I finally know what I'm doing and people trust me with their business. So, yeah.
And what has been your career highlights? Like that moment where you were like, I cannot believe I did that, whether you can share one or two experiences with us where you really just stood in front of the mirror and you took it all in and really just confirmed to yourself that you're the girl that you think you are.
Oh my gosh. It's been happening a lot in the past year or two where, there's that saying, some years ask questions, others
answer. Yes.
I'm in that era where I'm like, oh, okay, this is what we've, been building, and we're finally seeing the fruits. Recently, I was named top 30 African leading women by Cresta Africa. It's a platform based in the UK. I was like, what? Me?
Affirming.
Yeah, that's so affirming. That's so me, really?
I love it.
And then last month I got an invitation to there's a foundation, an organization in the DRC called Femme Angèle Moussassa, and they sought me out and invited me to go speak as a guest speaker at their workshop. I think it was a conference at their conference. Sought me out. They were very interested in the work that I do, especially with women. And they sought me out, asked me, flew me out, asked me to come talk to the young law students in Lubumbashi in the DRC. It was so affirming because that's home. I'm like, oh my goodness, the work that I do here, I'm going to go do it at home. And also just the idea that I am making a difference outside of Gauteng, outside of South Africa is like, really?
Is your French still good?
My French is still good.
Oh,
my English is better, but my French is good. My French is good. It was so reaffirming. It was very, not that I do this work because I'm passionate about it with women in law. It's just passion. But to get the recognition, it's reaffirming. It's reaffirming. It's like, okay.
And what are you doing to ensure that you continue like planting your seeds outside of the borders of South Africa?
I'm collaboration.
Okay,
I'm collaborating with there are talks, collaborating with people outside of South Africa. There's been there's already been a few meetings. Now it's just about, because I have to protect my brand, so it's about collaborating with various, whether it's institutions or similar platforms, but also maintaining the integrity of what women in law is and who we are and how independent we are. So I'm exploring that. I'm excited for it, but I want to do it in a way that still protects what we've built.
That's very exciting. Yeah. I really love the concept of operating globally and also operating within the continent. I think the law is the law across the board, and at the end of the day, it's always really women that need these kind of resources, whether it's lay women, whether it's women in the legal profession itself. It's very important for us to be intentional about planting seeds in other jurisdictions, because the messaging is the same,
it's
right?
The same,
empowering women, it really doesn't have a border, it doesn't have a language, it doesn't have, those kind of restrictions. Empowering women is something that should be done across the board. So I'm really proud of you for that.
Thank you, Bella.
Sure. Thank you. What are some of the exciting projects that you've worked on with For Women in Law that you really feel that you'd like to, say, maybe invest a little bit more time in creating perfection out of those one or two things?
We're turning 7 today, actually. So yay, thank you. And last year we held our first workshop, legal careers workshop.
Yes.
And the feedback was amazing.
Are we getting another one this year?
Yes. The plan is to perfect it now and do another one this year. You know, I know that the message and the work we do is important, but to hear such amazing feedback, just
to be able to measure it.
You know what I'm saying? And it puts just a battery in my back. I'm like, okay, now I need to perfect it. I need to do it, invest even more. So the plan is to make that an annual thing.
Oh, I love it.
And I'm just trying to perfect it. And what the attendees said last year was, please make it longer. So I'm like, okay, so 2 hours is not enough. All right, so we'll make it longer. So that's what that's an exciting project that I'm working on right now.
Oh, that is exciting. That is exciting. So for somebody who really isn't familiar with last year's one, what kind of direction does the event take?
Yeah. So the aim of the workshop is to explore the different career professional opportunities that a law degree can unlock, whether it's traditional or non-traditional. We explore a lot non-traditional work because
people don't have access to that.
And also people don't have access to that. They don't know about it. And they don't know how to get into it. So what I did last year, I had the panelists consisted of lawyers, law graduates who've taken alternative routes, or those who were in practice and then left practice to take those non-traditional career paths. That's what we do, and we explore those opportunities. We allow the audience to ask questions. We give a step-by-step on what to do or what you can, because not everyone's journey is the same, right? So I'll tell you, here's what I did. Here's where I found this opportunity, how to look for these opportunities. We encourage networking. One of the main thing I tell, our audience, my mentees is, the saying, your network is your net worth. There's so much, there can be some truth to it, because there are certain opportunities you'll get from referrals or recommendations, not necessarily because you applied for it on LinkedIn. So you need to know the right people who can vouch for you. So network, we really encourage networking. I love connecting, for instance, the law students and the legal professionals that I know. So I have one of the law students who attended the workshop last year really, really wanted to get into, what is it called? Investigative. I'm forgetting the term, something. And I know somebody who's done that, and I actually invited her to be a guest speaker at the workshop. So I was able to connect them and have them exchange ideas. That's exciting to me, just that connection. So that's what the workshop is about.
I really, really love that.
Yeah.
And being somebody who, I can see the work that you do, very, very invested in the idea and the concept of mentorship and sponsorship. What are the 3 qualities that you think stand out for a mentee? And what are the 3 qualities that you think really important for a mentor to possess? Okay,
a mentee. I like people who are eager to learn. So, and I always say this when we release, that the applications are open for mentorship. I always let, our audience know that while I don't think one person is more deserving of mentorship than the other, there isn't really a criteria. Mentorship is mentorship, and if you want it, everybody should be able to access it. But because I only have a limited space, what I look for is eagerness. I want to see that you're eager to learn, to join the mentorship program. That's the number one thing I look out for. 2 other qualities I would look for in a mentee. I would say somebody who, but that would fall under eagerness, somebody who asks questions. Because in the past, my frustrations have been that maybe people didn't understand what mentorship meant. 50% of the work is mine, but 50% of the work is the mentees.
Absolutely.
I can only teach you what you asked me to teach you. You know, I don't know what your interests are. You need to come to me, what your needs are. You know, you need to participate. You need to attend our sessions. And I always ask them, prepare your questions. We're going to have a guest mentor. Prepare your questions. Come prepared with your questions. That's what I look for.
So eagerness, preparedness.
There you go. And then thirdly, I would say... I can't think of a third one. That's why it's top two.
But like discipline as well.
Discipline. Yeah, the thing about discipline, I don't know if you're disciplined, beforehand. When you're sending that application, I don't know. I can't see that. The only thing I can really see is the eagerness. For instance, I have mentees who would have texted me prior to us even releasing that the applications are open. I love that. And I will let them in immediately. Like, okay, we're only opening next month, but you're in already. Okay. I love that. That's the only thing I can kind of see or gauge beforehand. Afterwards, and absolutely discipline, openness, asking questions, commitment. Yeah. That, oh my goodness, I always, communication as well. Yeah. That part. I'm always... the number one things I always tell my mentees is communicate. You can't attend a session, that's fine, but communicate with me beforehand. I shouldn't be calling you, asking you, why aren't you here? Why didn't you let me know that you weren't going to be here? Communication, participation, eagerness.
Love it. Yeah. And for a mentor?
Oh, for a mentor.
What qualities should they, possess?
Yeah. I think if you're gonna be a mentor, you have to like people, be a people's person. Like you have to actually enjoy talking to people. So be passionate, have a passion for people. Another thing I would say, have good communication skills as well. I think for me, everything boils down to communication. Have good communication skills.
And also like patience. You know how it is.
That part. Oh my goodness. Actually, yes. Let's add that. Patience is important. Do I exercise patience? I think I do. I think I do. I think I've learned over the years because remember, my decision to want to start a mentorship program was because mentorship has done so much for me. Yeah. I haven't mentored my entire life. Yeah. So I take from my mentors and then I also kind of apply to myself and give my mentees. And I would say I've never thought about it until now, but I do exercise.
Yeah, that's exactly patience. Paying it forward, like you were instructed to do once upon a time.
That part.
Well, being fairly young in the career, just from people's experiences as well, because you mentioned a lot that people share their experiences often on your platform and you highlight those experiences. What is something that you'd really like to see change in the legal profession during your lifetime?
I don't know if it will ever change because I would love to change the culture around well-being and balance. Okay, yeah. I think there is a glorification of burnout. I wish there was real support for mental health, like real support, you know. I think I mean we're seeing big corporation, firms, we're seeing them implement that, but I don't know how real it is, how genuine it is yet. I would
if they're just ticking the boxes.
That part. So I would really love to see in our, maybe the generation to come, less glorification of burnout and for us to actually take
busy billing.
Yeah, and it's like we're more than just billable hours. So that's the one thing I think I'm trying to, because I used to be like that. Sure. When I was in varsity, my little group of friends, we used to say things like,
we'll sleep when we're dead.
There you go. What?
Yeah.
Like
that is
and we
toxic.
were proud of, we'll sleep when we're dead. We'll sleep when we have our money. We'll sleep. Like, no, please sleep.
Sleep now.
Please sleep now. I sometimes when I'm on leave, I turn on my laptop. I'm like,
baby, you just want to see
what's happening, and I have to be intentional about switching when it's because I work hard. We work very hard. When it's time to rest. Sleep.
Sure.
Because
do nothing. There's productivity in rest.
Literally.
Yeah.
And the reason why we can do as much as we do is because we rest, I think. Like if I can't do everything that I do if I don't take the time to rest. And I'm doing a lot. And if I don't take the time to rest switch off a little bit
to yourself,
I won't be able to function at the level that I want to function. I won't be able to produce the quality of work that I like, that I'm known for. Sure. So sleep, guys.
I feel like after this, you're just going to go take a nap.
Well, I have a meeting and then I'm going to go take a nap.
Oh my goodness. And, is there anything that maybe I haven't touched on that you think that this conversation or this platform is a very important platform for you to highlight, anything that I maybe haven't touched on? Or if there are any words of encouragement for someone who's in a bit of a slump and they're just like, why am I even doing this?
Not that you haven't touched on, but I have two things. One, I love the work that you are doing with sister-in-law. I always say, when I started for women-in-law, it's because I didn't have anything like it. And when I look at all the platforms we have today, I feel so good for the law students today. You guys have so much. You have so much mentorship program here, there. You have options.
Sure. I
love it for them. And thank you for also creating an amazing platform that gives so much to so many women, so many students. I love it for you. I love it for us. I love it for them.
For the local girlies.
Yes. And then advice, I think you said, to young professionals.
Anyone who's just in a bit of a slump, whether it's a student or whatever.
Okay, firstly, the law school or university I don't think prepares you for the realities of practice at all. So as early as you can, as soon as you can, try to gain some kind of practical experience, whether it's VAC work, internship, job shadowing, anything really that will give you an idea of what it's like in practice. One of the ways you can do that is join a mentorship program. In my mentorship program, I introduced this a year or two ago, where we have a job shadowing program for our mentees.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah, and I didn't realize the difference it made, because I'm thinking it's just a day or two, sometimes 3.
Take a girl child to work.
I just thought, when I introduced it at first, I didn't think it would make that much of a difference. I wanted to see what the feedback was going to be. And the girls love it. And I'm like, okay, more of this. Yeah, more of this. So really, join a mentorship program, find an internship, reach out to another way. Reach out. And the thing about social media is you can reach out to people via DMs. You have access to people, and the worst they can do is not respond or say no, and you're not going to die.
I always say, and when they don't respond, touch base again.
I'm not
sure if you saw my message from last month.
That part.
If you haven't said no,
exactly. I mean, there's still room.
There's still room for me to bug you. And 9 times out of 10, even if you just end up saying yes to get me off your back, at least I got my yes.
There. And you have so many of these networking events you could attend, even if they don't present themselves at networking events. I know you have a monthly workshop. It seems like it's monthly now, because it is monthly, because it's, every month. Yeah. You have a monthly workshop that you do. Yes, people are coming there for the information you're providing, but also network. Attend these workshops. There are so many. If you sit down, go through your Instagram, your LinkedIn, you can create a little schedule for yourself per month. I'm going to attend 1 or 2 events. I'm going to use for networking. You never know what it's gonna bring you. So that'll be my
I think it's so important for people to really be intentional about even the content that they want to follow, right? You're not going to have access to it if the only content you're following is for example, beauty, lifestyle, and fashion. then if you're following that, then the algorithm is also going to feed you more of that. But if you're like also following and being more intentional about career-related platforms, then obviously the internet is going to feed that to you as well.
Yeah, agreed.
Sure, I love that. And you mentioned that you are busy pursuing an LLM in banking law.
Yes.
How's that going? And what is the end goal with that master's?
The end goal is to just upskill. You know, I'm trying to upskill. I think you never stop learning. You constantly need to just gain new experiences, upskill yourself. I don't know why I chose. Well, I know why I chose banking law. It was intentional.
Sounds hard.
You know, it's not as hard as I thought it would be. It's just typical, just theory. No. It's typical. It's typical law studies.
Okay, so there's not like a lot of numbers and whatever. Because I'm thinking banking.
There is no numbers.
Yeah.
There is no numbers.
Okay.
It's theory. It's there's a mini dissertation involved. It's writing essays for like 10 pages. It's what you're used to, basically.
Yeah, what you are used to in
no
law.
Numbers, it's, the regulations and so on, the laws affecting the banking industry, your FEEC.
Does any of that overlap with the work that you're doing in practice?
There is some, it does relate a little bit, because we do work a lot with, your FEEC, regulations, laws, and so on. So that I guess that applies in every industry now. It's not directly related, really. It's completely,
but you're upskilling.
It's completely different. But I'm upskilling, and you just never know where I might put that in practice one day.
Oh, I love that. What's next for Noémi?
Oh my word. There's a couple of things I'm working on, which I can't share yet.
Yeah,
we don't want to
in the pipeline.
In the pipeline. But because I'm very transparent about like the legal profession, the work that I do, it's something that I will absolutely share eventually when it comes together. Stay tuned. But I'm excited. I'm very young in my career, so there's still so much growth, and the growth part is exciting for me.
Sure. See you at the UN.
I know that's right.
Oh, Noémi, it's been really such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I said, for honoring the invitation, for coming to share your story with us so generously.
Thank you.
I really hope that one of these days I'll also see myself on a flight with you to the DRC for one of
so we can talk
your
to the
collaborative sessions. That sounds very exciting. I'm very proud of the work you do. Thank you for paying it forward for women in law. We really need more of us who are more intentional about just passing on the baton, not gatekeeping, giving people access, giving people information, and really just helping others.
No, thank you so much. And as you're talking, I don't know if you remember, you once interviewed me. That's how we met. You interviewed
on a podcast?
No, you worked at a I can't remember. I remember you interviewed me. This is before MV Law. This is before Trishana. This is before all of this.
Yeah. That is so interesting.
I'll find it.
Didn't you interview me?
No, you interviewed. This is before For Women. I'm talking before For Women in Law, before Sister-in-Law.
That is so interesting.
Didn't you work at it's like it was a women-led something NGO, I think.
Oh, were you looking for an internship?
Yes.
Okay. That was a long time ago. Yes, I was actually, goodness. I even forgot what the organization was called.
I forgot the name.
They were an NGO, but I remember they were very focused on helping women with like protection orders.
I think so.
Doing like divorces, if I remember correctly.
I was just looking for an internship.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So as you're talking now, I'm remembering. I'm like, oh my God.
That's like 2017.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah. But I guess looking back, that really was one of the things that encouraged me to starting Sister-in-Law, because I recall Sister-in-Law started not too long after that. So maybe it was 2016, 2015 even. That's a lot. That's like 10 years ago.
That's a long time ago.
That means you were like a baby.
I was a baby.
Why were you looking for a job when you were like a kid?
Oh my! I think I was at UNISA, so I was looking for anything to do while working long distance.
I forgot the name of the platform, but I remember they really. It really planted the seeds.
I don't know why when you're talking now.
I I remember that, wanting to help women on a bigger scale. And I remember, I don't know if you came to the offices, it was in Sandton.
It was in, I don't know if
So
it was
an
Sandton. I can't remember.
interview.
We sat in a boardroom.
Yes. Okay. No, definitely. I remember that. Wow. I remember the lady's name was Sam. Oh, I hope she's also still very passionate about helping women as well, because that is one of the platforms that I was very invested in. And I remember we used to actually go to court and go to police stations. We had even set up a help desk for women who were looking for protection orders and doing child maintenance. Thank you for that memory.
Pleasure.
That is exciting. Well, lovely to see you again and again and again. Thank you so much for your time. It's been an amazing conversation. Wishing you all the best with your studies.
Yes.
While juggling work.
Yes.
While juggling for women in law. Never ever underestimate or undervalue the importance of the work that you do. Keep at it, and I'm wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. You at home, I hope you've enjoyed today's conversation. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And also reminding you to get tickets for the I Am Lady Justice workshop, which is happening on Saturday, 24th of May at Workshop 17 in Sandton. Normal tickets are 1,200. You can get your tickets now on www.sisterinlaw.co.za. Until the next episode, goodbye.